What if the real secret to winning in the wild world of day trading wasn't about more research, more data, or, let's be honest, more stress, but actually less? Well, today we're jumping into the playbook of Victoria Duke, who you probably know as Tory Trades. She's a trader who's built her entire career on this idea of, believe it or not, radical simplicity.
And we're kicking things off with this quote because it just gets right to the heart of her whole strategy. This idea that you can actually succeed without drowning yourself in information, that's a total game changer for so many people, and it's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. So who is this woman behind this so-called cheating philosophy? Because to really get her method, you first have to understand where she's coming from.
See, Tory's journey didn't start with complicated charts and algorithms. Nope. It started with one simple but really powerful idea that her mentor, her Uncle Mike, drilled into her. You have to think like an entrepreneur first. That mindset, which she learned as a teenager and then really locked in during a year-long trading boot camp at 23, well, it's the foundation for literally everything she does today.
Okay, so how does that entrepreneurial mindset actually translate into a trading strategy? Well, it all boils down to this one core idea: trading by sight, not by noise. For Tory, success isn't about knowing everything that's going on. It's about filtering out all that chaos so you can see the market for what it really is.
Her entire system is built on this one concept: price action trading. And to put it simply, it's the practice of making all your decisions based on the price movements you can literally see on a chart and nothing else. And I mean nothing else.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got her method, sight, which is purely visual. It's all about reacting to what is happening on the chart in front of you right now. Then on the right, you have the noise. That's fundamental trading. The world of news reports, earnings, expert opinions. Tory actively avoids all of that. Why? Because her uncle taught her it can create this incredibly powerful bias, making you believe a price should go one way, even when the chart is screaming at you that it's going the other.
So how does this actually work in practice? It comes down to this super simple, repeatable three-step process. First, you find a market that's clearly moving in one direction. Second, you just draw a line to track it. And third, when the price breaks that line, you trade the reversal. That's it. This turns trading from this complex math problem into something more like visual pattern recognition.
She says this over and over again, and for good reason. It's her guiding principle. She even compares it to personal training. Think about it. You can chase a dozen super complex workout plans you see online, or you can just stick to one simple, proven routine. She argues that consistency with a simple plan will beat complexity every single time.
Okay, but one of the first questions any new trader has is, where do I even start? Stocks, Forex, crypto? Well, Tory has a very clear recommendation, and it's based on years of her own experience.
So Tory's traded across different markets, but she definitely has a favorite for beginners. For her, the limited hours of the stock market were just too restrictive. And with Forex, she warns traders to tread with caution because of some unregulated brokers out there. So that leaves her top recommendation: futures. The two huge advantages: the 24-hour access, which means it can fit pretty much any schedule, and the strong US regulation, which gives you that crucial security for your money.
But, as any trader will tell you, having a great strategy is completely useless if you don't have the right mindset. This is where Tory's approach gets really interesting, because it's all about navigating the toughest market of all, the one inside your own head. All right, first things first, how much money do you actually need to get started? Tory suggests about $5,000. Now, she says this isn't some magic number. It's just a comfortable enough buffer that lets you learn, make some mistakes, and not get totally wiped out by your first few trades. The psychological hurdles aren't always internal either. Just look at this chart of her own Instagram followers. It shows you that trading is still a heavily male-dominated field. We're talking 90% male. That really illustrates the kind of environment she's had to navigate, where she's often had to go the extra mile, like showing her broker statements, just to prove she's the real deal, in a space where, sadly, a lot of people doubt female expertise.
This right here is basically her mental toolkit for survival and success. To avoid getting complacent, she actually forced discomfort by moving from Nashville to New York. To handle failure, she practiced giving herself grace. Even during a losing streak, she shared publicly. She manages FOMO, that fear of missing out, not by ignoring it, but by training herself to just sit with the feeling instead of impulsively acting on it. And, what might be the most impressive thing of all, is her discipline. She stops trading for the entire year once her profit goal is met.
And that brings us to the final big idea. The one thing that really ties her entire philosophy together: This is the main takeaway from the whole Tory trades playbook. When you get right down to it, Tory's playbook is all about this one powerful idea. Her success wasn't built by adding more indicators, more news, more strategies. No, it was built on subtraction. She found one simple visual process that actually worked, and then she spent almost a decade just mastering that by filtering out absolutely everything else. It is the ultimate lesson in the power of focus over breadth.
And that really leaves us with a question that goes way beyond trading, doesn't it? In our own lives, with our own goals, we are all just bombarded with endless strategies and advice and data. So, when you look at your own ambitions, what's the essential signal and what's just noise?